Well, hello guys and gals, and welcome back to another edition of Farming Simulator 2015 with me, your old buddy, Mistermoose. We are back on Manchester, and today we are going to do something a little bit different on our video. We're here in the beef pen where in our live stream last night we purchased some beef cattle and put those in. Well, on this farm we're going to make a little addition to it today. We are going to add in a greenhouse for lettuce. I talked about that yesterday, and we're going to put it back here in the back corner. But in the video today, I'm going to show you how to make a little map edit and how to put that in so that you can make it work. Here's the problem I'm running into. If I put the greenhouse down here on the grass, you notice I get lots of grass texture bleeding through. Now, I've had this issue before. I've talked to you guys about it when we were doing the garage, or putting in the garage edition. And I did that off camera, and I thought, well, when I put the greenhouses in and I make an area to put the greenhouses in, maybe I can go ahead and show you guys exactly what I did to put those in. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to jump into the Giants editor, show you a little bit of how to use the editor to get rid of this grass, and then we will come back, show you how to swap out the two files so that you get the new map in, and then yeah, go from there. So that's basically what's on the program today. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope I don't screw it up too much. Just a disclaimer, I am not a pro with the Giants editor. I'm just average with it. So I make a lot of mistakes sometimes, and you'll just have to bear with me on it. But anyways, let's get out of here. This thing's going to go away because I just wanted to place it so you guys could see the problem with just placing it straight on the ground. And I mean, it looks like it was here put in 10 years ago and neglected really bad. I mean, it's even on the inside of it, it's unusable on the inside. If we go in here, in the door right here, come on, yeah, if I go in here, I mean, it's grass everywhere. So all right, so I will jump into the Giants editor and we will continue on. All right guys, before we start this out, I want to just make it clear, before you attempt anything else like this, make sure you back everything up on your computer, and that way if you have any issues or any kind of mistakes along the way, you can go back and correct that. I'm going to get rid of an old version that I have, and I'm going to start fresh with this whole process. So back everything up, and that way you've always got a safety. By the way, quick note, the music that's played in the background on a continuous loop, that is because if I don't have some sort of audio running, my headphones will shut off and it will screw the whole recording up. For some reason, my headphones have to have audio periodically in them, otherwise they shut off to conserve power. But they don't recognize me talking into the microphone as audio, so it's such a stupid scenario. But anyways, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to navigate to our folders where we've got all of our farm sim stuff saved, which is in our My Documents, My Games, Farm Sim. And the first things I want to do is I want to make sure that I have my mods backed up, which that means I need to make a copy of Manchester and have that stored somewhere else, which for me, under my farm sim files, I have some active files and I have Manchester saved in there. The next thing I want to do is I want to jump right back into that same, back into farm sim, into the main farm simulator folder, and I want to find the save game that I'm going to be working on, and I want to copy that and make a backup of the save game, which I've done, and I've copied that into save game backup. So I do that all the time just as a redundant. I know that Farm Sim has a save game backup folder within it, but just to be on the safe side, I make a redundant backup so that I know that I have it done and I don't have to wonder if Farm Sim did it right. Okay, so with all the backups made, then I'm going to make a copy of the current version of Manchester that I have, and I'm going to paste that to my desktop. So just a real quick paste. There we go. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to decompress that so that I can actually work on the files within it. For me, I'm using WinRAR, so I'm going to say extract to Manchester so it creates a little folder on my desktop and all the files decompress. Now, while this is going on, I will go ahead and say this. This video is intended just to give you a little bit of an insight as to how you can make some modifications to the map and the process in which you go through. It assumes that if you are going to tackle something like this, you have some sort of knowledge on how decompression programs work, how to download the Giants editor, all that other stuff. I'm not going to do videos on how to zip and unzip a file and all of that stuff. I'm not going to do a thing on how to get the Giants editor and how the Giants editor completely works. This is just a quick overview on how you can do some of the basics in this, okay? If you do want to tackle it, you're going to have to do a little bit of work on your own, just kind of like I have, to teach yourself how to do it. And there's a lot of videos out there you can watch on how to use the Giants editor and all that other stuff. Okay, so once the folder has decompressed, and now we've got our little folder with all our files in it, I'm going to double click on it. I'm going to double click on the map, and inside of it there is an i3D file format, and that is called map01, and we are going to double click on that, and it is going to launch the Giants editor. Now when the Giants editor launches, 9 times out of 10 it is going to crash and say not responding. It is actually not crashed, it's just working, and for some reason it acts like it is crashed, and so you just need to give it time, and eventually everything will load in and everything will be beautiful. And now we have Manchester loaded in because I recognize this section. This is where I made edits before to actually extend the field a little bit and all that other stuff. So if I come in here and I start to pull back, you'll recognize a little bit more of the area. This is where I took all the grass out and everything and covered it all up with nice dirt here so we could put in our shed that we have currently with all the farm equipment. So we need to be working back in this back corner back here, so we need to move on over there. And the only way I know how to move around on the map is to use my scroll wheel to move the camera in and out, and then hold down my left alt button, and then hold my left mouse button and move my mouse to spin the camera around. If there is a better way to move around, please let me know, because again, I don't claim to be a pro at this. I claim to know just enough to get me through making changes and doing things that I want to do on the maps. So this is the area in question that we're going to be working on. I want to get rid of this little bit of foliage and all this grass over here and extend this dirt texture so that we can place down our lettuce box. So let's get started. There are some working tools up here. You've got your terrain detailed texture paint mode, terrain info layer paint mode, terrain foliage paint mode. We are going to be working in terrain foliage paint mode to begin with. I'm going to select that, and then that makes a little brush area for a brush tool here that we can use to work with. And if we come over here to terrain editing window, brushes, if I scroll down here, I'm going to find one that is called Foliage Layer Painting. And the foliage layer I want to be working with is listed here. Each one of these you can paint in. Well, the first one I want to get rid of is grass, which is this dark green grass here. If I select that grass layer and then I right click on my mouse and mouse across here, all that grass starts to go away. And I want to get rid of it. So I'm just going to start working in this small little area right here, getting rid of this bit of grass. Next thing I want to do is get rid of this foliage that's in here. I don't want any of that foliage to be left over. So I'm going to have to work through the foliage. Now I've done this enough that I know the first one starts with bushes. If I want to see what the bushes look like, I can click there and it'll show me what they look like with my left click. And then I can right click and just scrub up through here and get rid of everything. Next thing is go through, and there's forest grass, cattails, short grass. I do know I have a little short grass. Don't know what it looks like. There it is. I can erase that. There's a little bit of it on the edge right here. I'll continue to work my way through here. So short grass, now to mix flowers. What do they look like? They look like that. And I don't think I really have any in there, but I'll just work through them systematically, getting rid of what is in here. I don't think there's any Eisenhut. Let's see. What else is in here? Wildflowers. I think there is a little bit of wildflower up by the, up there. There, that's gone. Let's see. Next is going to be Foliage, which is that. And I'm pretty sure there's none in here, but it doesn't hurt to scrub through all of them, and it just takes a second to do it. There's a little bit of that in here somewhere. Yep, there we go. Let's see. Purple flower. I know there was a little purple flower right here at the edge. That is gone. Let's see, what's next? There is no pink flower. Miscellaneous plants. There might be a little bit of that in there. And then I think the last one is small bush, which there is a lot of that there. And that is now gone. Good, good, good. So now we want to continue to get rid of the rest of our grass, now that we've gotten rid of that little bit of foliage there. So I'm going to come back up here, reselect grass. I'm going to move my camera angle around so I can see over in this area, and I'm going to start to work this area here. And I want to just make a gradual little swoop here over toward the fence and start taking my grass out along that fence row. I don't want to get all the way up to the fence. I want to leave some grass there. But I want to have enough of a little bit of a area between the fence and the actual building, so there's a little bit of grass in that area. And I'll just continue to work right on up that fence row, taking that grass out. And then I want to come back over to this side. And again, I want to just make a gradual turn here and then start taking out the grass. I might have to do a little bit more grass. I'm not going to go too crazy on this for now, because I don't want to take all of it out. Eventually I may take all this grass out as well and add in some more greenhouses over in that area, but for right now I'm just going to focus on this little area where we're going to be putting in the lettuce box. And again, I can't see all the grass until I start getting it into the render zone, so I'm going to move in a little bit tighter here so I can see what I got going on. Reselect my tool, and I'll turn a little bit so I can see my line here, and work myself back here towards the back corner. And again, I want to leave myself a little bit of grass back here in the back corner. I don't want to take every bit of it out. There we go. Spin over here so I can look at where my edge is over on this side and start working it in as well. There you go. And get back here. And the nice thing about using this rounded tool, it gives me a little bit of a round transition in that back corner. And then now all I gotta do is get rid of the rest of this little bit of grass. And that is that. Make sure I just scrub through here good and just verify what I've done. Looks alright. Now we want to get rid of this grass mat here and extend that dirt texture all the way back up in here. And I want to tell you what, I want to go a little bit more subtle across that so it looks a little bit more natural. Alright, so to get rid of this green and get the grass in, we're going to use a different tool. We're going to go into Terrain Detail Texture Paint mode. Click on that. I'm going to come over here to my brushes. I'm going to come up and I'm going to actually be changing the terrain layer. So I want to come and find Terrain Layer Painting. Make sure that is selected into dirt. And now when I paint across here, I'm getting rid of the grass and I'm getting the dirt. Pretty simple, right? And again, it just comes with messing around. Again, I don't claim to be any pro at this. I know just enough to be damaging to the map. If I was really understood it and spent even more time in it, I'd actually try to create a map, but it would probably turn out horrible. Because I don't have the patience nor the time to sit in here and put the detail in that other people do. I would want, if I sat down and tried to create a map, I would try to create it and be done with it within an hour. And hey, Rome's not created in a day, and neither is a farm sim map. And I just don't have the patience to sit down and do something like that. I'd rather be playing the game, right? if I did create a map, it would be all trees. It would have just a little bit of terrain, and then it would be all trees, so that you could drop all the trees and create your own fields. Alright, so I'm just gonna get rid of this little bit of grass. Move myself back around a little bit more. Get rid of this area here. Alright. Rotate back around and take out all this area up in here. Just getting it up close to the grass line. Now, your brush settings have a lot to do with how detailed everything can be. You can change the size of your brush down, like I said a minute ago. But there's also a way to, if you go into the brush details, let me get this last bit done and I'll show you. And just look around here and see that this all looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks good. Good enough, anyways. If I come over here to my tools for the brush, you can actually change your brush and how your brush functions here. You can change the radius of it, the opacity, the hardness. The hardness works as like a value from 0 to 1. And so you can put in like 0.1. Makes it a little softer edge, where if it's 1, it's a nice, hard, clean, sharp edge. Your values are the same, you know, so you just kind of have to mess around with it. You know, if you want to learn how to do the Giants editor, I suggest you just get it and mess with it one day, and you'll learn how to do everything just by screwing around and playing with it. So again, this is just a crude, dirty little work that I'm doing here. I'm not trying to put any details into it as far as like ruts or tracks or anything else like that. I just want to get rid of the grass so I have a nice clean place to put in the lettuce greenhouse. So now that I've finished this up, everything looks pretty good. I'm ready to save it and move on to the next step. So I will come over here to the little disk looking thing and I will save my i3D file, and that will take a few minutes. And just like with loading the game in, if it pops up and says not responding, which it just did for me, don't freak out. I used to do that. I used to say, oh man, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? And I get all pissed off, and I'd shut the thing down and I'd redo everything I did. Come to find out that it was working. It just acts like it shuts down. So the best thing to do is start it up, doing its little saving process, and depending on your computer, how much RAM you have, how much CPU you've got, just give it some time. It may take 2 minutes to do it. It may take 30 seconds to a minute. Mine's done now. It could take you 5 minutes, half an hour, who knows, depends on your computer. But it is done. It is good to go, so we can close out of that. So now we've edited the map. Now the next step is we got to get all this stuff recompressed and ready to go back into the game. Now, do not zip this file up. I'm going to get rid of this one because I don't need it anymore. I'll throw that into the recycling bin, empty my recycling bin. I need to rezip all of these files. Now, don't make the mistake of zipping the folder up. If you do, it ain't going to work. Go into here, select all your files, right click on it, make an archive. Mine is going to be Manchester, and it's going to be a zip file, and I'm going to create that, and I'm just going to say okay, and it is going to make a Manchester zip, and I'll let that work. And again, remember, back everything up before you do these next few processes, because this is where you can screw your game up. So make sure that you have your original files backed up, because once we finish making this zip, we're going to replace them. So this will take a couple of seconds to do that. And as soon as it's done, we'll get the next step going. I'm not going to do any editing on this. I'm just going to keep it in its real time so you guys see all the processes and how it's done. I am watching a football game at the exact same time as I am doing this, and it seems like every time I glance up at the screen, somebody fumbles. It's amazing. It's the sloppiest football game I've ever seen. I've seen at least 6 turnovers in the time we've been recording this video. It's amazing. And I'm not going to tell you who I'm watching play. If you watch the game, you probably already know. All right, so 98, 99, 100% done. So I need to take this and I need to cut it out of here because I don't need that in there anymore. I need to jump over here and I need to go to my documents, my games, Farm Simulator, mods. I need to paste this in. Do I want to replace? Yes, I do. All right, so now we have the new version of Manchester in. The last thing I want to do, and this is kind of iffy, I've never done this before, but we're going to give it a shot. When I did my last video on putting in the sheds and making those small map adjustments, somebody said to keep from having to do all the work that I actually did, all I have to do is go into the save game folder, delete the cultivator density GRLE file, and delete the fruit density GRE file. I do not know that that is going to work, but we are going to try it. But remember, before you do this, make sure you have your save game file backed up. So I'm going to delete that. And now I am going to launch Farm Sim, and fingers crossed, this is all going to work. If I did everything right, it should load up. We should see Manchester under my save game file, and I should be able to launch Manchester, and all that stuff will appear. So I go into career, I come to Manchester, I start it. Let's see what happens. It'll take it a couple of seconds to load in. I will do a real quick edit for you guys, and then we'll be back once it has loaded in, because I got a lot of mods it has to load. Yet another fumble in the game I'm watching. Granted, it is pouring down like a monsoon there, but still, it's the sloppiest game I've ever seen. Alright, so the game is loaded in. We're going to launch into here. You'll see that it is where I left off with all the fog and haze. We'll go ahead and fast track time a little bit so we can have a little sunshine. And we will move over here and grab our pickup truck, and we'll head over to the farm and see if the changes we made are in place. So hopefully this all works out. By the way, I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream Friday night. Thanks for everybody who came out and took part in it. I always enjoy interacting with you guys, and hopefully you guys enjoy the new setup, and I'll work to continue to revise that and to make it a little bit better, and hopefully we're getting better and better at that live stream. I'm still, I haven't done that many of them. I've only done like 6 or 8 of them. So I'm still working on getting better and better at doing the whole live stream and interacting and that kind of thing with you guys. And the YouTube format is still in its infancy, so there's a lot of stuff that I can't do with YouTube that I could do on Twitch or some of those other stuff, but for now it seems to be doing well, and it's a process. Alright, so we are back here, and that did not work. It didn't take. I can see that the mount took, but what I can see is I still have grass here. So the little tip that the guy told me, well, it did get rid of the wildflowers, but it didn't get rid of the grass. So I am going to have to go through here with a cultivator and get rid of all that grass before we can get started. So I'm going to have to run to the farm and grab a cultivator. So I'm just going to park this guy out of the way instead of driving all the way back to the farm, and we'll go from there. So let's turn that off, tab through our vehicles, and find something that I want to use for it. The John Deere will work. This is one thing I like about this John Deere too, is it always puts you in the cab when you come into it. So every time I tab through the vehicles, I at least know where the John Deere is because it always shows up. Now the question is going to be, am I going to be able to get rid of all this grass on the first take? So apparently the whole the foliage and the cultivator density, it did get rid of like the cattails and the shrubs and things like that, but it did not get rid of the grass. So we're gonna have to do that with the cultivator, which bummed out. I was hoping all that would go right on away and I wouldn't have to do this part. The question will be, am I going to be able to get rid of the grass on this particular day, or am I going to have to fast track to the next day? It has been my experience that when I try to do something like this and get rid of the grass, cultivating it, I end up having to do it on the next day, not on the current day cycle. So because it's like at, you know, midnight already factored in the grass. Hopefully though, I'll be able to get rid of it right here in the beginning and everything will work out for me. But I can see that the mat is gone. I can see that the wildflowers and the shrubs are gone that were right there in front. So I know the map is loaded. It's just a matter of getting rid of that little bit of grass and moving on. So maybe that tip that he was telling me about was to get rid of trees and shrubs. Because I did mention in the last video that when I did this whole little update process before, I wasn't able to get rid of the shrubs because they didn't take. And I had said something to the fact of, if you add a tree or you take a tree, it doesn't actually disappear for you unless you start a whole new game save. So maybe that was what he was alluding to. Alright, so hopefully when I drive through here, everything will go away, and it did not. Oh well. So here we go. Fast track time a little bit. I will see if this works. Fast track time. I'll go an afternoon cycle, see if that works. That does not work, go to the next day. Alright, so fast track to the next day. Ooh, look at there. Oh, we've got a big high demand for sugar beet. That's a good thing. Alright, back into the tractor, and I should be able to get rid of the grass now. There it goes. I don't know why that is, but I have to go to the next growth cycle to get rid of the grass. Crazy how that works. I don't know why it is. It's just something I have figured out, but now I can get rid of all this grass and we will be good. There we go. And the great reveal is on. And this time y'all have seen exactly how I did it. And I kept my word to you guys that when I did another update, I would show you exactly what I did to do it. And now you see. Alright, so we'll just run through this grass a little bit more. Knock it down, reveal the dirt underneath it. Ooh, why did that dirt not go away? Or grass, why didn't it go away? Alright, so we'll make another turn here. Got a couple more little passes to go, and then we should have all this cleared out. And we can drop in our greenhouse at that point. Ah, missed that little bit. All right. Let's go back over this little swath here. Hopefully it goes away. It should have. I don't know why it didn't on that first pass. There we go. Well, it looks like it should. There we are. Alright, fold all that back up. Get this out of the way, and we will jump into the store. And now we can put our greenhouse into place. Bingo. Alright. I never did get rid of that music, did I? Let me get rid of that music real quick. Goodbye. Thank you. It was nice listening to you, but you're getting old. Alright, so into the mods we go. I want to go into placeables and scroll on through here. Way back in the back will be the lettuce greenhouse. And there she is. Get that. Bring it over here. Look at that. Look at that. Alright, so I want to put it up just about right. Let's put it right about there. Maybe. There. Maybe there. Just got enough room to do it. Rotate it around because I want the lettuce to come out back here. And I want to be able to drop the seeds and stuff off of there. So, boom. Put it right. Does that look about right? I think that's where we're going to put it. Boom. Well, let's take a look at what we've done. Alright, so if we come over here to this edge of it, we got a little bit of wear out right in this area, so the grass won't encroach all the way up to the concrete. That's good. Might have a little grass through the concrete back here in this back corner, and I can deal with that. Our lettuce will come out here. We've got enough room between the fence and that to get our well, that is our mixed ration or whatever the byproduct is. The lettuce comes out here. Got plenty of room to pull a truck in over here. Again, I might come back and edit some more, take some more of this grass out and make a little bit more area over here. And then this is where we will be coming in and putting in our fuel here. Our water goes here. Fertilizer goes here. And then seed goes into this area. So, how about that? So what do you say we go to the next step, which is starting to load this puppy up? And I think we will do that in the next video, because this video is getting pretty long probably. So I will transition over. I'll get the equipment needed in the next video, because we need to get the I need to get some haulers to haul the fuel and the fertilizer over here, as well as yeah, do the rest of it. So I will go ahead and stop the video here. We'll call this done, and then we will do the lettuce in our next video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little look at the Giants editor and how to clean out an area so you can plop it down and not have all the grass and stuff in there. Hope it was interesting for you guys. And again, we'll do some more in our next video. We'll start the lettuce greenhouse. I might do a little bit more tweaking to the map, and then we'll get started. And thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you like it. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And thanks to everybody who does subscribe and watch the videos on a daily basis. I appreciate it. And I will see you in the next episode. Until then, stay safe. Have a great day. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.